Hey, how's it going? It's Jason, Nomadic Pagan. Welcome to week 34. Week 34. We're almost done. How about that? Week 34 is personal religion. Let's jump right into it. Week 34, personal religion related required number 10, personal religion. And number 9, relationships to kindred. Required reading, Our Own Druidry, page 17, the Hearth Oath. Our Own Druidry, page 117 and 122, personalizing your paganism. And Our Own Druidry, Roman numeral, whatever that is, Appendix 1, adapting the DP to Pacific ethnic paths. Optional reading, Sacred Fire, Holy Well, and Sacred Gifts by Kurt Thomas. At this point, we're over halfway into the year of dedicant work. You will probably have seen many people who have chosen a hearth culture talk about patron deities and are very specific in their knowledge of their culture. Yeah, maybe. Where were we? Most often, people become interested in Pacific culture and then interested in ADF, and they might start by looking at their hearth culture. In the end, it's personal choice. It's your religion. You will do with it as you please, and you might just take your time getting there. It's a fun ride, so enjoy it. A word about patrons. Once upon a time, there was a patron oath requirement in the old dedicant path. It was removed in 2003 revision because the clergy council and a large number of members felt that a one-year study program was not nearly enough time for someone to find and build a relationship with a patron. We know that each person is an individual and will find a patron at their own rate. Some people are hit full in the face with a patron within minutes of deciding that they want to become pagan, while others are pagan for years, even decades, before finding any trace of a patron. Sometimes a patron will not be around for someone's entire life, but will show up and fade away quickly. The relationship between the human and the patron is not one of parity. While the relationship is still reciprocal, it is far more giving on the side of the patron. The patron has things that we cannot hope to obtain ourselves, generally blessings. And we know this. Rather than attempt a purely one-to-one relationship on gifts, the patron is there to provide us with what we need, generally asking only what we are able to provide in return. It is a beneficent relationship, and the power, not always a deity, but usually, is giving of his or her goodwill to you. This does not make the relationship one of take, but rather giving what cannot be attained in any other way and asking for something for a lesser value in return. Those are special relationships built on love and on charity and should never be taken for granted. A final note about personal religion is just that, personal. ADF is all about Indo-European culture, deities, and ritual, but that doesn't mean that we require members to be the same. If you want to worship non-IE deities and patrons, such as Hindu, Egyptian, Tibetan, or Native American powers, that's up to you. And ADF will never ask you to give up those personal beliefs. On the other hand, public rites that are billed as ADF rituals do need to be IE in focus, though other aspects might be added in. For instance, honoring the Native Americans whose bones lie in the land, who made this land sacred before we arrived, would be appropriate. While your main practice should be within the confines of IE religion, we know that you may have ties to other culture religious groups, or even to patrons who are not of the Indo-European family. Feel free to elaborate on those aspects in your essay on personal religion. If they are important to you, they are important to us. Homework. In your dedicate notebook, write a bit about what interests you in various hearth cultures. If you're already settled on a hearth culture, skip to the next paragraph. What sort of things are you looking for in a culture? Do you have an ancestral tie to a certain culture? Or is this even important to you? Are there myths that you find a commonality with? Are there culture aspects that you particularly like? When the topic of cultures come up, do certain ones stand out to you? In week 40, we will choose a book on a specific culture for you to read. Remember that when you choose that book, you are not tied to that culture for worship or to use it as a hearth culture. Consider exploration. To make matters more complicated, often in i.e. societies, there is more than one set of gods. This is most noticeable in Norse, where you have the Vanir and the Aesir. Does one set of gods speak out more than the others? What can you find out about them? Do you find an affinity to tributes of the set of gods? Now, let's get really complicated and talk about the patrons. If you're really gung-ho about patronage, though, you want to start by looking into the myths and symbols that appeal to you. Do certain things show up over and over again? Are there aspects of your personal life that you need help with? Are there deities who intrigue you, amuse you, or frighten you? Is there a goddess who affects a large part of your life? If you're answering with the same deity over and over again, you might have a patron. If not, give it time. And always examine a relationship carefully. Now, what happens if you're drawn to two different patrons? Or worse, to a patron who isn't in the patron you choose? Have no fear. It's remarkably common in ADF. Each person deals with it in his or her own way or their way, so a lot of it is up to you to work it out. You can, though, ask around and find people who have more than one hearth culture and find out how they deal with it. That might help you the most. Of course, your personal religion might be so eclectic that no single god, goddess, or patron will ever be able to call you theirs. You may belong to all the gods and goddesses, all the patrons, and all the hearth cultures. If that's the case, then we wish you luck. Really, we do. This, of course, too much for most people to do in one sitting. You might just write down as many answers as you can now and return to this later. Answering those questions, though, will be very helpful in trying to work through your dedicant oaths, so don't bookmark the page. Next week is week 35, the sixth high holy day, an explanation. So join me next week as we tackle the next subject in this DP Will of the Year. Blessed be y'all. We'll catch you later.